Hey everybody and welcome to the Flixist Movie News and Review, where we talk about the biggest stories of the week and the stories that made us go WTF. I've got Jesse with me, so stay tuned and find out the best news and the worst news. Hey everybody and welcome back. So on the Flixist Movie News and Review, we have members of the staff of Flixist that go through and talk about our least favorite news and our stories of the week that made us really excited. So I've got Jesse with me today. Hey Jesse, how you doing?
Hey Nate, I'm doing pretty good up here in Jersey. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty good over here in Iowa. It was a stormy day today, but the sun has come out and we are excited to talk about some movie news.
You better believe it. There's a lot that I am eager to talk about today.
Of course. Well, there was a very big story that came out yesterday, and that story happens to be your favorite story of the week.
Yeah, I mean, all day today, I just could not stop thinking about the big news that Robert Pattinson is now Batman. That's out of left field, to say the least.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I think that it makes sense. When you kind of stack up the contenders, I don't really know if I had one in mind that I was really pulling for, but that came and I was like, oh, that's unexpected. Oh, that could work.
Yeah, I mean, the Batman movies have always kind of had some uncharacteristically weird casting. Like, even when the Tim Burton one came out, no one was ever expecting that guy from Beetlejuice would be a good Batman, or what's-his-face from 10 Things I Hate About You being a good Joker, but there you go. We had some really great performances out of Keaton's Batman and Heath Ledger's Joker, legendary ones. So we could get that out of Pattinson.
Yeah, I've been on board with Robert Pattinson ever since I saw Good Time. It was a movie I never expected to be anything, and he was phenomenal. And I was like, wow, this guy is more than a vampire. He's got a true path to stardom here. And yeah, this is the super highway to stardom, being something on this scale.
Oh, you got that right. Playing Batman's a huge deal. And now I can say that Batman is played by a vampire. It's a bat playing a bat.
That's
perfect.
Fair. There you go.
I
like. He'll be comfortable in caves, right?
Oh, I hope so.
So my question is: it going to be like hashtag Team Bruce or hashtag Team Batman? And will there be like a Team Robin? Like I don't know what we do with this.
I'm very interested in seeing just how people react to it once we see a trailer. Then and seeing just how this young heartthrob comes across as being a brooding, dark Batman. But for Robert Pattinson, I mean, like you said, he is a good actor, so it's good to see him get more out there and try different roles. And an action movie is a pretty good way to get out there.
For sure. I think it's a testament to all the choices he's made. You really can tell that he tried to distance himself from Twilight as fast as he could, and I think it's paying off. So the next story we're talking about could also be a WTF story, but the more I thought about it, it turned into my favorite story of the week, and that is Chris Rock being attached to the new Saw franchise. It's not a reboot, it's just kind of continuing that story, but apparently what happened was he approached the producers of Saw and had an idea for the next installment, and apparently it was crazy and out of left field and just so good enough that the entire team is back to make a new Saw film. And I'm like, okay, Chris Rock, really?
Yeah, that makes me really interested in hearing exactly what kind of pitch he came up with. We'll figure it out eventually, but if it's something that, regardless of whether the fact that it's Chris Rock giving a pitch for Saw, which I personally have never seen any of the Saw movies, but I know just from cultural osmosis that those things can be really dark, really grim, really bloody, and then having Chris Rock go, I have an idea for one. I want to see what that is.
Yeah, okay, so the first Saw is brilliant, and it's based on psychological horror, a twisted idea, really creative, that works on every level. And then it became a cash cow, so they just try to stretch it out as thin as possible. It got off the rails. It just became torture porn. But it came from a really great idea, and if we've learned anything from Jordan Peele, comic minds, and even John Krasinski, like people that have comic minds can really come up with something really smart. And Chris Rock is a borderline genius. Like his stand-up is comedy history and everything. Like he is so smart. And so he's got to have something in there. Who knows? Maybe Saw will just be a comedy. And then let's see Chris Rock in it. I'm down.
It's so weird to me that the fact that all these comedians are coming out with these really good pitches for horror movies and they turn out to actually be good. Like, they're better than most normal, conventional horror movies now. And that's, like, a really fascinating turn. And it makes me kind of question, like, okay, what are these comedians thinking of in their spare time to go, you know what? I think that I can make a good Saw movie.
Yeah. Well, they got a lot of free time on those tour buses, so I don't know. I'm excited. I think it's going to be good. So, okay, now we have some WTF news that we aren't so excited about. And when you told me this story, I couldn't believe it. So I had to go back and read the article on Flixist and see that this is actually a thing. You tell us, please.
So, for those of you who don't know, I'm someone that I like to talk about musicals. I like to talk about theater, and so I have kind of been following the Cats movie fairly well. Like, I am interested in it because it's such a weird movie. And this past weekend, a report came out. Taylor Swift had an interview, since she's inside of the movie playing one of the characters, about the actual production of the movie. And she said that she is going to be getting CGI fur, whiskers, cat ears, and a fully independent tail on her. Like, she's still acting normally. It's just going to be added on to her with all of the other cast members. And the director, Tom Hooper, sent everyone to cat school to figure out how to move like a cat, how to dance like a cat, and how to sense others like a cat. And I have no idea what any of that means. But even if the movie turns out to be a flaming disaster from this, it will be a magical disaster.
Yeah, I don't know. The Cats musical had me interested when Idris Elba popped up, because I'm just like, no one can attack. Like, that shows how comfortable he is in his manhood and how awesome he knows that he is. That he's like, yeah, I can do cats and I'll still be cool. And like,
the casting of this movie is so bizarre because, okay, you've got like big musicians like Taylor Swift, but then you also have Jason Derulo inside there acting opposite people like Idris Elba, Ian McKellen, and Judi Dench, which, keep in mind, everyone will get CG cat fur.
I don't even know. I can't even handle it.
And it's for Cats too. Cats kind of sucks, man.
Cats is not good. Sucks. You're right. It's not good. So that's definitely WTF worthy. My WTF worthy would have been my favorite news story of the week about 3 years ago. But current modern day climate, Game of Thrones lash out. For some reason, Disney must have saw that there was a petition out that had hundreds of thousands of signatures saying that due to the abysmal writing and the ineptitude of writers, that they should make a giant announcement that those writers that are being accused of being inept now have the next Star Wars movie. Okay.
I mean, the writers of Game of Thrones are good writers. They've shown that for the past 7 seasons that they are fantastic writers, and they've been going off the books for like 2 seasons, I believe. But because of a few elements that fans disagree with, and I will admit could have been executed better, now they're terrible writers and awful people and should not touch anything whatsoever. And it just goes to show the hindsight. We're just like, how did Disney not know that this wasn't a good time? Yeah. Having the Rian Johnson movies announced would have been a better time, and fans are still polarized about that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with the idea of them doing it. It's very interesting. Hopefully they'll have someone that has really good source material that can feed them. That way they'll know the right direction, because yes, you are right. Their writing was absolutely phenomenal when they had the highway set for them. But when they had to create their own trail, it kind of got off the path, and the whole storyline development and character arcs and understandable justification for the actions just got thrown to the side because they had to get this over with. So I think they can do something with the Star Wars, but it's so funny to me that it's just like, oh, someone should have been like, hey, let's wait a few months, because the movie's not even supposed to come out till like 2022 or something like that.
No, yeah, it's like 3 years ahead, and I mean, probably by that point, fans will have forgotten all about this, but had to be right after one of the most polarizing Game of Thrones episodes since the Red Wedding.
Yeah, no kidding. I bold choice. So you are a Game of Thrones fan, I hear.
I am a Game of Thrones fan.
Are you still on board? Are you excited for Sunday? Do you have high expectations?
I am excited for Sunday. I'm one of the few people, I think that Season 8 has been very good. It hasn't been perfect, because even though they had the budget for 10 episodes, them deciding to compress it down to 6 episodes, we're able to see that there have been some sacrifices in terms of writing and pacing. But overall, I've been enjoying it, and I'm pretty sure that the finale is going to be very, very, very divisive, but I'm probably going to be very satisfied with it.
Yeah. I have been using all week, it's the classic example of this is why we can't have nice things, America. People, it's over the top. I have my issues. I've made them very known about my problem with character development and justification for actions and all of those. But at the end of the day, it is a fun ride. It's been amazing. We are all better off for that show existing than if it wasn't. I am certain that people are going to be furious on Sunday. There is no route that they can ever take that in an hour and 20 minutes they can tie up all the loose ends and make people feel good. So I'm just going to sit back. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to look to see what's going on and then just enjoy it, because there's never going to be anything like this again in terms of a collective television experience. So
you got that right.
Yeah.
But though, to be fair, watching the fans react to this over the past week has been just as entertaining as actually watching the show. I feel bad for people that name their daughters Khaleesi.
I know.
And I don't know if this actually happened, but didn't, like, the Game of Thrones Reddit, they voted to change themselves to a Lord of the Rings Reddit because they completely despised the last episode? I don't know if it happened. I just heard rumors of that.
This is why we can't have nice things, Jesse. This is why.
You got that right.
All right. Well, this has been the Weekly News and Review. Jesse, I'm sure you're going to be back several times on this. This has been fun.
Oh, you can't get rid of me. It's almost impossible.
I won't. Not up there in the white north of New Jersey.
Sure. Blinding sunlight all over the place.
All right, Jesse. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next time.